Forward of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Larry Wilson. It can be done by Joseph Morse and St. Clair Adams. Forward. This is a volume of inspirational poems. Its purpose is to bring men courage and resolution, to cheer them, to fire them with new confidence when they grow dispirited, to strengthen their faith that things can be done. It is better for this purpose than the entire works of any one poet, for it takes the cream of many and has greater diversity than any one writer can show. It is made up chiefly of very recent poems, not such as were written for anthologies of poetical gems, but such as speak directly to the heart, always in very simple language, often in phrases of shop or office or street. Included, however, with the poems of the day are a few of the fine old pieces that have been of comfort to men through the ages. Besides the poems themselves, the volume contains helps to their understanding and enjoyment. The pieces are introduced by short comments. These serve the same purpose as the strain played by the pianist before the singer begins to sing. They create a mood, give a point of view, throw light on the meaning of what follows. Also, the lives of the authors are briefly summarized. This is in answer to our natural interest in the writer of a poem we like, and in the case of living poets, it brings together facts hardly to be found anywhere else. Finally, the book is not one to be read and then cast aside. It is to be kept as a constant companion and an unfailing recourse in weariness or gloom. Human companions are not always in the mood to cheer us, and may talk upon themes we dislike. But this book will converse or be silent. It is never out of sorts or discouraged, and so far from being wed to some single topic, it will speak to us at any time on any subject we desire. To many authors and publishers, acknowledgment is due for generous permission to use copyrighted material. End of foreword.
Section 1 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Abu Ben Adhem by Leigh Hunt. "Forgive my enemies," said the dying man to the priest. "I have none. I've killed them all." This old idea of exterminating our enemies has by no means disappeared from the earth, but it is waning. "Live and let live" is a more modern slogan, which mounts in turn from mere toleration of other people to a spirit of service and universal brotherhood. Love of our fellow men. Has humanity reached any height superior to this? Abu Ben Adhem, may his tribe increase, awoke one night from a deep dream of peace, and saw within the moonlight in his room, making it rich and like a lily in bloom, an angel writing in a book of gold. Exceeding peace had made Ben Adhem bold, and to the presence in the room he said, "What writest thou?" The vision raised its head, and with a look made of all sweet accord, answered, "The names of those who love the Lord." "And is mine one?" said Abu. "Nay, not so," replied the angel. Abu spoke more low, but cheerily still, and said, "I pray thee then, write me as one that loves his fellow men." The angel wrote and vanished. The next night it came again with a great wakening light, and showed the names whom love of God had blessed, and lo, Ben Adhem's name led all the rest. End of section 1, read by Alan Mapstone. Section 2 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Boris and St. Clair Adams. The Answer by Grantland Rice. Bob Fitzsimmons lacked the physical bulk of the men he fought, was ungainly in build and movement, and not infrequently got himself floored in the early rounds of his contests. But many people consider him the best fighter for his weight who has ever stepped into the prize ring. Not a favourite at first, he won the popular heart by making good. Of course, he had great natural powers. From any position when the chance at last came, he could dart forth a sudden, wicked blow that no human being could withstand. But more formidable still was the spirit which gave him cool and complete command of all his resources, and made him most dangerous when he was on the verge of being knocked out. When the battle breaks against you and the crowd forgets to cheer, when the anvil chorus echoes with the essence of a jeer, when the knockers start their panning in the knocker's nimble way, with a rap for all your errors and a josh upon your play, there is one quick answer ready that will nail them on the wing. There is one reply forthcoming that will wipe away the sting. There is one elastic comeback that will hold them as it should. Make good. No matter where you finish in the mix-up or the row, there are those among the rabble who will pan you anyhow. But the entry who is sticking and delivering the stuff can listen to the yapping as he giggles up his cuff. The loafer has no comeback, and the quitter no reply, when the anvil chorus echoes, as it will, against the sky. But there's one quick answer ready that will wrap them in a hood. Make good. End of section 2, read by Alan Mapstone. Section 3 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Boris and St. Clair Adams. Appreciation by William Judson Kibbe. Life's a bully good game with its kicks and cuffs. Some smile, some laugh, some bluff. Some carry a load too heavy to bear, while some push on with never a care. But the load will seldom heavy be when I appreciate you and you appreciate me. He who lives by the side of the road and helps to bear his brother's load may seem to travel lone and long, while the world goes by with a merry song, but the heart grows warm and sorrows flee when I appreciate you and you appreciate me. When I appreciate you and you appreciate me, the road seems short to victory. It buoys one up and calls come on, and days grow brighter with the dawn. There is no doubt or mystery when I appreciate you and you appreciate me. It's the greatest thought in heaven or earth. It helps us know our fellow's worth. There'd be no wars or bitterness, no fear, no hate, no grasping yes. It makes work play and the careworn free when I appreciate you and you appreciate me. End of section 3, read by Alan Mapstone.
Section 4 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain, and for more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Arrow and the Song by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. We can calculate with fair accuracy the number of miles an automobile will go in an hour. We can gauge pretty closely the amount of merchandise a given sum of money will buy. But a good deed or a kind impulse is not measurable. Their influence works in devious ways and lives on when perhaps we can see them no more. I shout an arrow into the air. It fell to earth I knew not where, for so swiftly it flew the sight could not follow it in its flight. I breathed a song into the air. It fell to earth I knew not where, for who has sight so keen and strong that it can follow the flight of a song? Long, long afterward in an oak I found the arrow still unbroke, and the song from beginning to end I found again in the heart of a friend. End of section 4, read by Nina Lilly.
Section 5 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Larry Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Awareness by Miriam Teichner. A man must keep a keen sense of the drift and significance of what he is engaged in if he is to make much headway. Yet many human beings are so sunk in the routine of their work that they fail to realize what it is all for. A man who was tapping with a hammer the wheels of a railroad train remarked that he had been at the job for 27 years. "What do you do when a wheel doesn't sound right?" a passenger inquired. The man was taken aback. "I never found one that sounded that way," he said. God, let me be aware. Let me not stumble blindly down the ways, just getting somehow safely through the days. Not even groping for another hand, not even wondering why it all was planned. Eyes to the ground, unseeking for the light, soul never aching for a wild-winged flight. Please keep me eager just to do my share. God, let me be aware. God, let me be aware. Stab my soul fiercely with others' pain. Let me walk seeing horror and stain. Let my hands groping find other hands. Give me the heart that divines, understands. Give me the courage wounded to fight. Flood me with knowledge. Drench me with light. Please keep me eager just to do my share. God, let me be aware. End of section 5.
Section 6 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Bars of Fate. "There ain't no such beast," ejaculated a farmer as he gazed at the rhinoceros at a circus. His incredulity did not, of course, do away with the existence of the creature. But our incredulity about many of our difficulties will do away with them. They exist chiefly in our imaginations. I stood before the bars of fate and bowed my head disconsolate. So high they seemed, so fierce they frown, I thought no hand could break them down. Beyond them I could hear the songs of valiant men who marched in throngs, and joyful women fair and free looked back and waved their hands at me. I did not cry, too late, or strive to rise, or rail at fate, or pray to God. My coward heart, contented, played its foolish part. So still I sat, the tireless bee sped o'er my head with scorn for me, and birds who built their nests in air beheld me as I were not there. From twig to twig before my face the spiders wove their curious lace, as they a curtain fine would see between the hindering bars and me. Then sudden change. I heard the call of wind and wave and waterfall from heaven above and earth below, a clear command, arise and go. I upward sprang in all my strength and stretched my eager hands at length to break the bars. No bars were there. My fingers fell through empty air. Ellen M. H. Gates, from To the Unborn Peoples. End of section 6. Read by Alice Stein.
Section 7 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Larry Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Battle Cry by John G. Nyhart. We should win if we can, but in any case we should prove our manhood by fighting. More than half-beaten but fearless, facing the storm and the night, breathless and reeling but tearless, here in the lull of the fight. I who bow not but before thee, God of the fighting clan, lifting my fists, I implore thee, give me the heart of a man. What though I live with the winners, or perish with those who fall? Only the cowards are sinners, fighting the fight is all. Strong is my foe, he advances, snapped is my blade, O Lord. See the proud banners and lances, O spare me this stub of a sword. Give me no pity, nor spare me, calm not the wrath of my foe. See where he beckons to dare me, bleeding, half-beaten I go, not for the glory of winning, not for the fear of the night, shunning the battle-ish sinning. Oh, spare me the heart to fight. Red is the mist about me, deep is the wound in my side. Coward, thou criest to flout me? O terrible foe, thou hast lied. Here with my battle before me, God of the fighting clan, grant that the woman who bore me suffered to suckle a man. End of section 7.
Section 8 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Belly and the Members by William Shakespeare. Adapted from Coriolanus. No doubt the world is cursed with grafters and parasites, men who live off the body economic and give nothing substantial in return. But an appearance of uselessness is not always proof of such. We should not condemn men in ignorance. As old as Aesop is the fable of the rebellion of the other members of the body against the idle unproductiveness of the belly. In this passage, the fable is used as an answer to the plebeians of Rome who have complained that the patricians are merely an encumbrance. There was a time when all the body's members rebelled against the belly, thus accused it, that only like a gulf it did remain, in the midst of the body idle and unactive, still cupboarding the viand, never bearing, like labour with the rest, where the other instruments did see and hear, devise, instruct, walk, feel, and mutually participant did minister unto the appetite and affection common of the whole body. Note me this, good friend. Your most grave belly was deliberate, not rash like his accusers, and thus answered. True it is, my incorporate friends, quoth he, that I receive the general food at first, which you do live upon, and fit it is, because I am the storehouse and the shop of the whole body. But, if you do remember, I send it through the rivers of your blood, even to the court, the heart, to the seat of the brain, and through the cranks and offices of man, the strongest nerves and small inferior veins, from me receive that natural competency whereby they live, though all at once cannot see what I do deliver out to each, yet I can make my audit up that all from me do back receive the flower of all, and leave me but the bran. What say you to it? End of section 8, read by Alan Mapstone.
Section 9 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Larry Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Be the Best of Whatever You Are by Douglas Mallock. We all dream of great deeds and high positions away from the pettiness and humdrum of ordinary life. Yet success is not occupying a lofty place or doing conspicuous work. It is being the best that is in you. Rattling around in too big a job is much worse than filling a small one to overflowing. Dream. Aspire by all means, but do not ruin the life you must lead by dreaming pipe dreams of the one you would like to lead. Make the most of what you have and are. Perhaps your trivial immediate task is your one sure way of proving your mettle. Do the thing near at hand, and great things will come to your hand to be done. If you can't be a pine on the top of the hill, be a scrub in the valley, but be the best little scrub by the side of the rill. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a bush, be a bit of the grass, and some highway some happier make. If you can't be a muskie, then just be a bass, but be the liveliest bass in the lake. We can't all be captains. We've got to be crew. There's something for all of us here. There's big work to do and there's lesser to do. and the task we must do is the near. If you can't be a highway, then just be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star. It isn't by size that you win or you fail. Be the best of whatever you are. End of section 9.
Section 10 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Kenneth the Teller. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Section 10. Borrowed Feathers by Joseph Morris. Many good attractive people spoil the merits they have by trying to be something bigger or showier. It is always best to be oneself. A rooster one morning was preening his feathers that glistened so bright in the sun. He admired the tints of the various colours as he laid them in place one by one. Now as roosters go, he was a fine bird, and he should have been satisfied. But suddenly there, as he marched along, some peacock feathers he spied. They had beautiful spots, and their colours were gay. He wished that his own could be green. He dropped his tail, tried to hide it away, was completely ashamed to be seen. Then his foolish mind hatched up a scheme. A peacock yet he could be. So he hopped behind a bush to undress, where the other fowls could not see. He caught his own tail between his bill, and pulled every feather out, and into the hole stuck the peacock plumes, then proudly strutted about. The other fowls rushed to see the queer sight, and the peacocks came when they heard. They could not agree just what he was, but pronounced him a funny bird. Then the chickens were angry that one of their kind should try to be a peacock, and the peacocks were mad that one with their tail should belong to a common fowl flock. So the chickens beset him most cruelly behind, and yanked his whole tail out together. The peacocks attacked him madly before, and pulled out each chicken feather. And when he stood stripped clean down to the skin, a horrible thing to the rest, he learned this sad lesson when it was too late. As his own simple self he was best. Joseph Morris. End of section 10.
Section 11 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Larry Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Borrowing Trouble by Robert Burns. It is bad enough to cry over spilt milk, but many of us do worse. We cry over milk that we think is going to be spilt. But human bodies are such fools, for all their colleges and schools, that when no real ills perplex them, they make enough themselves to vex them, and the less they have to fret them, in like proportion, less will hurt them. End of section 11. Section 12 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Larry Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Brave Life by Grantland Rice. To be absolutely without fear may not be the highest courage. To shrink and quake and yet stand at one's post may be braver still. So of success. It lies less in the attainment of some external end than in holding yourself to your purposes and ideals. For out of high loyalty and effort comes that intangible thing called character, which is no mere symbol of success, but success itself. I do not know what I shall find out beyond the final fight. I do not know what I shall meet beyond the last barrage of night, nor do I care, but this I know. If I but serve within the fold and play the game, I'll be prepared for all the endless years may hold. Life is a training camp at best for what may wait beyond the years. A training camp of toiling days and nights that lean to dreams and tears. But each may come upon the goal and build his soul above all fate by holding an unbroken faith and taking courage for a mate. Is not the fight itself enough that man must look to some behest? Wherein does failure miss success if all engage but do their best? Where does the victor's cry come in for a wreath of fame or a laureled brow? If one be vanquished, fought as well as weaker muscle would allow? If my opponent in the fray should prove to be a stronger foe, not of his making, but because the destinies ordained it so, if he should win and I should lose, although I did my utmost part, is my reward the less than his if he should strive with equal heart? Brave life, I hold, is something more than driving upward to the peak, than smashing madly through the strong and crashing onward through the weak. I hold the man who makes his fight against the raw game's crushing odds is braver than his brothers are who hold the favor of the gods. On by the skyline faint and vague, in that far country all must know, no laurel crown of fame may wait beyond the sunset's glow, but life has given me the chance to train and serve within the fold, to meet the test and be prepared for all the endless years may hold. End of section 12. Section 13 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Larry Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Call of the Unbeaten by Grantland Rice. P.T. Barnum had shrewdness, inventiveness, hair-trigger readiness in acting or deciding, an eye for hidden possibilities and instinct for determining beforehand what would prove popular. All these qualities helped him in his original and extraordinary career, but the quality he valued most highly was the one he called stick-to-itiveness. This completed the others. Without it, the great showman could not have succeeded at all, nor did he think that any man who lacks it will make much headway in life. We know how rough the road will be, how heavy here the load will be. We know about the barricades that wait along the track, but we have set our soul ahead upon a certain goal ahead, and nothing left from hell to sky shall ever turn us back. We know how brief all fame must be. We know how crude the game must be. We know how soon the cheering turns to jeering down the block. But there's a deeper feeling here that fate can't scatter, reeling here in knowing we have battled with a final ounce in stock. We sing of no wild glory now, emblazoning some story now of mighty charges down the field beyond some guarded pit, but humbler tasks befalling us, set duties that are calling us, where nothing left from hell to sky shall ever make us quit. End of section 13.
Section 14 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Can't by Edgar A. Guest. A great achieving soul will not clog itself with a cowardly thought or a cowardly watchword. Cardinal Richelieu, in Bulwark Lytton's play, declares, quote, "In the lexicon of youth, which fate reserves for a bright manhood, there is no such word as fail." End quote. Quote, "Impossible," Napoleon is quoted as saying, "is a word found only in the dictionary of fools." End quote. Can't is the worst word that's written or spoken, doing more harm here than slander and lies. On it is many a strong spirit broken, and with it many a good purpose dies. It springs from the lips of the thoughtless each morning, and robs us of courage we need through the day. It rings in our ears like a timely sent warning, and laughs when we falter and fall by the way. Can't is the father of feeble endeavor, the parent of terror and half-hearted work. It weakens the efforts of artisans clever, and makes of the toiler an indolent shirk. It poisons the soul of the man with a vision. It stifles in infancy many a plan. It greets honest toiling with open derision, and mocks at the hopes and the dreams of a man. Can't is a word none should speak without blushing. To utter it should be a symbol of shame. Ambition and courage it daily is crushing. It blights a man's purpose and shortens his aim. Despise it with all of your hatred of error. Refuse it the lodgment it seeks in your brain. Arm against it as a creature of terror, and all that you dream of you some day shall gain. Can't is the word that is foe to ambition, an enemy ambushed to shatter your will. Its prey is forever the man with a mission, and bows but to courage and patience and skill. Hate it with hatred that's deep and undying, for once it is welcomed, 'twill break any man. Whatever the goal you are seeking, keep trying, and answer this demon by saying, "I can." Edgar A. Guest, from A Heap o' Livin'. End of section 14.
Section 15 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Shrimpfish. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Can You Sing a Song? By Joseph Morris. Nothing lifts the spirit more than a song, especially the inward song of a worker who can sound it alike at the beginning of his task, in the heat of midday, and in the weariness and cool of the evening. Can you sing a song to greet the sun? Can you cheerily tackle the work to be done? Can you vision it finished when only begun? Can you sing a song? Can you sing a song when the days have through, when even the thought of the rest wearies you, with so little done and so much to do? Can you sing a song? Can you sing a song at the close of the day, when weary and tired the work's put away, with the joy that it's done, the best of the pay? Can you sing a song? End of section 15.
Section 16 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Cares by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. To those who are wearied, fretted, and worried, there is no physician like nature. When our nerves are frazzled and our sleep is unrefreshing, we can find no better antidote to the clamorous grind and frenzy of the city than the stillness and solitude of hills, streams, and tranquil stars. That man lays up for himself resources of strength who now and then exchanges the ledger for green leaves, the factory for wild flowers, business for brook croon and birdsong. The little cares that fretted me, I lost them yesterday, among the fields above the sea, among the winds at play, among the lowing of the herds, the rustling of the trees, among the singing of the birds, the humming of the bees. The foolish fears of what may happen, I cast them all away, among the clover-scented grass, among the new-mown hay, among the husking of the corn, where drowsy poppies nod, where ill thoughts die and good are born, out in the fields with God. End of section 16, read by Nina Lilly.
Section 17 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Celestial Surgeon. We may acquire the resolution to be happy by resting on a bed of roses. If that fails us, we should try a bed of nettles. If I have faltered more or less in my great task of happiness, if I have moved among my race and shown no glorious morning face, if beams from happy human eyes have moved me not, if morning skies, books and my food and summer rain knocked on my sullen heart in vain, Lord, thy most pointed pleasure take, and stab my spirit broad awake. Or, Lord, if too obdurate I, choose thou, before that spirit die, a piercing pain, a killing sin, and to my dead heart run them in. Robert Louis Stevenson. End of section 17.
Section 18 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Challenge. Napoleon is reported to have complained of the English that they didn't have sense enough to know when they were beaten. Even if defeat is unmistakable, it need not be final. A battle may be lost, but the campaign won. A campaign lost, but the war won. Life, I challenge you to try me. Doom me to unending pain. Stay my hand, becloud my vision, break my heart and then again. Shatter every dream I've cherished. Fill my heart with ruthless fear. Follow every smile that cheers me with a bitter, blinding tear. Thus I dare you, you can try me. Seek to make me cringe and moan. Still my unbound soul defies you. I'll withstand you, and alone. By Jean Nett. End of section 18, read by Nina Lilly.
Section 19 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Chambered Nautilus by Oliver Wendell Holmes. The nautilus is a small mollusk that creeps upon the bottom of the sea, though it used to be supposed to swim or even to spread a kind of sail so that the wind might drive it along the surface. What interests us in this poem is the way the nautilus grows. Just as a tree, when sawed down, has the record of its age in the number of its rings, so does the nautilus measure its age by the ever-widening compartments of its shell. These it has successively occupied. The poet, looking upon the now empty shell, thinks of human life as growing in the same way. We advance from one state of being to another, each nobler than the one which preceded it, until the spirit leaves its shell altogether and attains a glorious and perfect freedom. This is the ship of pearl which poets feign sailed the unshadowed main, the venturous bark that flings on the sweet summer wind its purpled wings, in gulfs enchanted where the siren sings, and coral reefs lie bare, where the cold sea maids rise to sun their streaming hair. Its webs of living gauze no more unfurl, wrecked is the ship of pearl, and every chambered cell where its dim dreaming life was wont to dwell, as the frail tenant shaped his growing shell, before thee lies revealed, its irised ceiling rent, its sunless crypt unsealed. Year after year beheld the silent toil that spread his lustrous coil. Still, as the spiral grew, he left the past year's dwelling for the new, stole with soft steps its shining archway through, built up its idle door, stretched in his last found home, and knew the old no more. Thanks for the heavenly message brought by thee, child of the wandering sea, cast from her lap forlorn, from thy dead lips a clearer note is born than ever Triton blew from wreathed horn. While on mine ear it rings through the deep caves of thought, I hear a voice that sings, build thee more stately mansions, O my soul, as the swift seasons roll. Leave thy low vaulted past, let each new temple, nobler than the last, shut thee from heaven with a dome more vast, till thou at length art free, leaving thine outgrown shell by life's unresting sea. Oliver Wendell Holmes. End of section 19. Section 20 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Character of a Happy Life by Sir Henry Wotton. I'd rather be right than president, said Henry Clay. It is to men who are animated by this spirit that the greatest satisfaction in life comes. For true blessedness does not lie far off and above us. It is close at hand. Booker T. Washington once told a story of a ship that had exhausted its supply of fresh water and signaled its need to a passing vessel. The reply was, quote, "Send down your buckets where you are," end quote. Thinking there was some misunderstanding, the captain repeated his signal, only to be answered as before. This time he did as he was bidden, and secured an abundance of fresh water. His ship was opposite the mouth of a mighty river, which still kept its current unmingled with the waters of the ocean. How happy is he, born and taught, that serveth not another's will, whose armor is his honest thought, and simple truth his utmost skill, whose passions not his masters are, whose soul is still prepared for death, not tied unto the world with care of public fame or private breath, who envies none that chance doth raise, or vice, who never understood how deepest wounds are given by praise, nor rules of state, but rules of good. Who hath his life from rumors freed, whose conscience is his strong retreat, whose state can neither flatterers feed, nor ruin make accusers great. Who God doth late and early pray, more of his grace than gifts to lend, and entertains the harmless day with a well-chosen book or friend. This man is freed from servile bands, of hope to rise or fear to fall, lord of himself, though not of lands, and having nothing, yet hath all. Sir Henry Wotton. End of section 20.
Section 21 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Clear the Way by Charles Mackay. Humanity is always meeting obstacles. All honor to the men who do not fear obstacles, but push them aside and press on. Stevenson was explaining his idea that a locomotive steam engine could run along a track and draw cars after it. But suppose a cow gets on the track. Someone objected. So much the worse, said Stevenson, for the cow. Men of thought, be up and stirring, night and day. Sow the seed, withdraw the curtain, clear the way. Men of action, aid and cheer them. As ye may. There's a fount about to stream. There's a light about to gleam. There's a warmth about to glow. There's a flower about to blow. There's midnight blackness changing into gray. Men of thought and men of action, clear the way. Once the welcome light has broken, who shall say what the unimagined glories of the day? What the evil that shall perish in its ray? Aid it, hopes of honest men. Aid the dawning, tongue and pen. Aid it, paper, aid it, type. Aid it, for the hour is ripe. And our earnest must not slacken into play. Men of thought and men of action, clear the way. Lo, a cloud's about to vanish from the day, and a brazen wrong to crumble into clay. With the right shall many more enter, smiling at the door. With the giant wrong shall fall many others, great and small. That's for ages long have held us for their prey. Men of thought and men of action, clear the way. Charles Mackay. End of section 21. Read by April 6090.
Section 22 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Larry Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Cleon and I by Charles Mackay. Toward the end of the yacht race in which the America won her historic cup, the English monarch, who was one of the spectators, inquired, "Which boat is first?" "The America seems to be first, Your Majesty," replied an aide. "And which is second?" asked the monarch. "Your Majesty, there seems to be no second." So it is in the race for happiness. The man who is natural, who is open and kind of heart, is always first. The man who is merely rich or sheltered or proud is not even a good second. Cleon hath 1,000,000 acres, ne'er a one have I. Cleon dwelleth in a palace, in a cottage I. Cleon hath 12 fortunes, not a penny I. Yet the poorer of the twain is Cleon, and not I. Cleon true possesses acres, but the landscape I. Half the charm to me it yieldeth money cannot buy. Cleon harbors sloth and dullness, freshening vigor I. He in velvet, I in fustain, richer man am I. Cleon is a slave to grandeur, free as thought am I. Cleon fees a score of doctors, need of none have I. Wealth surrounded, care environed, Cleon fears to die. Death may come, he'll find me ready, happier man am I. Cleon sees no charm in nature, in a daisy eye. Cleon hears no anthems ringing in the sea and sky. Nature sings to me forever, earnest listener I. State for state, with all attendants, who will change? Not I. End of section 22.
Section 23 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Kenneth the Teller. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Section 23. Columbus by Joaquin Miller. This poem pictures courage and high resolution. To the terrors of an unknown sea and the mutinous dismay of the sailors, Columbus has but two things to oppose: his faith and his unflinching will. But these suffice, as they always do. In the last 4 lines of the poem is a lesson for our nation today. The seas upon which our ideals have launched us are perilous and uncharted. In some ways, our whole voyage of democracy seems futile. Shall we turn back, or shall we, like Columbus, answer the falterers in words that leap like a leaping sword? Sail on, sail on. Behind him lay the grey Azores, behind the gates of Hercules. Before him, not the ghost of shores, before him only shoreless seas. The good mate said, "Now we must pray, for lo, the very stars are gone." Brave Admiral, speak, what shall I say? Why, say, sail on and on. My men grow mutinous day by day, my men grow ghastly, wan and weak. The stout mate thought of home, a spray of salt wave washed his swarthy cheek. What shall I say, brave Admiral, say? If we sight naught but seas at dawn, why you shall say at break of day, sail on, sail on, sail on and on. They sailed and sailed as winds might blow, until at last the blanched mate said, "Why now, not even God would know, should I and all my men fall dead. These very winds forget their way, for God from these dread seas is gone. Now speak, brave Admiral, speak and say." He said, sail on and on." They sailed, then spake the mate, "This mad sea shows his teeth tonight. He curls his lip, he lies in wait with lifted teeth, as if to bite. Brave Admiral, say but one good word. What shall we do when hope is gone?" The words leapt like a leaping sword, "Sail on, sail on, sail on and on." Then pale and worn he kept his deck, and peered through darkness. Ah, that night of all dark nights, and then a speck. It grew, a starlit flag unfurled. It grew to be time's burst of dawn. He gained a world. He gave that world its grandest lesson. On! Sail on! By Joaquin Miller. From Joaquin Miller's Complete Poems. End of section 23.
Section 24 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and Sinclair Adams. The Conqueror by Burton Braley. Age is wise, it attempts nothing impossible. Youth is wiser, it believes nothing impossible. Age conserves more, youth accomplishes more. Between the two is an irreconcilable difference. Quote, "Crabbed age and youth cannot live together," end quote, as Shakespeare says, and the sympathy of the world is with youth. It is better so, for though many cherished things would be saved from sacrifice, if rash immaturity were more often checked, progress would be stayed if life were dominated by sterile and repressive age. Room for me, greybeards, room, make room. Menace me not with your eyes of gloom, jostle me not from the place I seek, for my arms are strong and your own are weak. And if my plea to you be denied, I'll thrust your wearying forms aside. Pity you? Yes, but I cannot stay. I am the spirit of youth. Make way! Room for me, timid ones, room, make room. Little I care for your fret and fume. I laugh at sorrow and jeer defeat. To doubt and doubters I give the lie, and fear is stilled as I swagger by. And life's a fight, and I seek the fray. I am the spirit of youth. Make way! Room for me, mighty ones, room, make room. I fear no power and dread no doom, and you who curse me and you who bless, alike must bow to my dauntlessness. I topple the king from his golden throne, I smash old idols of brass and stone. I am not hampered by yesterday. Room for the spirit of youth, make way! Room for me, all of you, make me room, where the rifles clash and the cannon boom, where glory beckons, or love, or fame, I plunge me heedlessly in the game. The old, the wary, the wise, the great, they cannot stay me, for I am fate. The brave young master of all good play, I am the spirit of youth. Make way! Burton Braley, from Things as They Are. End of section 24.
Section 25 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Kenneth the Teller. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and Sinclair Adams. Section 25. Cooperation by J. Mason Knox. We must all hang together, or assuredly we shall all hang separately, Benjamin Franklin is reported to have said at the signing of the Declaration of Independence. It ain't the guns, nor armament, nor funds that they can pay, but the close cooperation that makes them win the day. It ain't the individual, nor the army as a whole, but the everlasting teamwork of every bloomin' soul. By J. Mason Knox. End of section 25.
Section 26 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and Sinclair Adams. Courage by Florence Earle Coates. The philosopher Kant held himself to his habits so precisely that people set their watches by him as he took his daily walk. We may be equally constant amid worldly vicissitudes, but only a man of true courage is. 'Tis the front towards life that matters most, the tone, the point of view, the constancy that in defeat remains untouched and true. For death in patriot fight may be less gallant than a smile, and high endeavour to the gods seems in itself worthwhile. End of section 26. Read by Ingrid Falk, Béziers, France, March 2025.
Section 27 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Cowards by William Shakespeare. We might as well accept the inevitable as the inevitable. There is no escaping death or taxes. Cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death but once. Of all the wonders that I have yet heard, it seems to me most strange that men should fear, seeing that death, a necessary end, will come when it will come. William Shakespeare. End of section 27.
Section 28 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by PZR Voice. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. A Creed. Men may seem sundered from each other, but the soul that each possesses, and the destiny common to all, invest them with a basic brotherhood. There is a destiny that makes us brothers. None goes his way alone. All that we send into the lives of others comes back into our own. I care not what his temples or his creeds, one thing holds firm and fast, that into his fateful heap of days and deeds the soul of a man is cast. Edwin Markham, from Lincoln and Other Poems. End of section 28. Read by PZR Voice, Atlanta, April 2nd, 2025.
Section 29 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Daffodils by William Wordsworth. The poet, in lonely mood, came suddenly upon a host of daffodils and was thrilled by their joyous beauty. But delightful as the immediate scene was, it was by no means the best part of his experience, for long afterwards, when he least expected it, memory brought back the flowers to the eye of his spirit, filled his solitary moments with thoughts of past happiness, and took him once more, so to speak, into the free open air and the sunshine. Just so, for us, the memory of happy sights we have seen comes back again to bring us pleasure. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. End of section 29.
Section 30 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Days of Cheer. Edison says that genius is 2 parts inspiration, 98 parts perspiration. So happiness is 2 parts circumstance, 98 parts mental attitude. Feeling fine, he used to say, come a clear or cloudy day. Wave his hand and shed a smile, keeping sunny all the while. Never let no bugbear's grim get a wrestle hold to him. Kept a smiling rain or shine, tell you he was feeling fine. Feeling fine, he used to say, wave his hand and go his way. Never had no time to lose, so he said, fighting blues. Had a twinkle in his eye, always when a going by. Sort a smile up into mine, tell me he was feeling fine. Feeling fine, he'd always say, and the sunshine seemed to stay close by him, or else he shone with some sunshine of his own. Didn't seem no clouds could dim any happiness for him. Always seemed to have a line out for gladness, feeling fine. Feeling fine, I've heard him say, 6 times today, and as many times I knowed he was bearing up a load. But he never let no grim troubles get much hold on him. Kept his spirits just like wine, bubbling up and feeling fine. Feeling fine, I hope he'll stay all his 80 that away, letting his demeanor be such as you could have or me if we tried, and went along spilling little drops of song, letting rosebuds sort of twine o'er the thorns, and feeling fine. James W. Foley, from Tales of the Trail. End of section 30. Read by Dixiane Estidier, Valencia, April 2nd, 2025.
Section 31 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by PZR Voice. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. December 31. If January 1 is an ideal time for renewed consecration, December 31 is an ideal time for thankful reminiscence. The year has not brought us everything we might have hoped, but neither has it involved us in everything we might have feared. Many are the perils, the failures, the miseries we have escaped, and life to us is still gracious and wholesome and filled to the brim with satisfaction. Best day of all the year, since I may see thee pass and know that if thou dost not leave me high, thou hast not found me low. And since I behold thee die, thou leavest me right to say that I tomorrow still may vie with them that keep the upward way. Best day of all the year to me, since I may stand and gaze across the grayish past and see so many crooked ways that might have led to misery or might have ended at disgrace. Best day since thou dost leave me free to look the future in the face. Best day of all the days of the year, that was so kind, so good, since thou dost leave me still the dear old faith in brotherhood. Best day since I, still striving here, may view the past with small regret, and undisturbed by doubts or fear, seeks paths that are untrod as yet. S. E. Kaiser. End of section 31. Read by PZR Voice, Atlanta, April 2nd, 2025.
Section 32 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The sunflower ain't the daisy. Know yourself, said the Greeks. Be yourself, bade Marcus Aurelius. Give yourself, taught the master. Though the third precept is the noblest, the first and second are admirable also. The second is violated on all hands. Yet to be what nature planned us, to develop our own natural selves, is better than to copy those who are wittier or wiser or otherwise better endowed than we. Genuineness should always be preferred to imitation. The sunflower ain't the daisy, and the melon ain't the rose. Why is they all so crazy to be something else that grows? Just stick to the place you're planted, and do the best you knows. Be the sunflower or the daisy, the melon or the rose. Don't be what you ain't, just you be what you is. If you am not what you are, then you is not what you is. If you're just a little tadpole, don't you try to be the frog. If you are the tail, don't you try to wag the dog. Pass the plate if you can't exalt and preach. If you're just a little pebble, don't you try to be the beach. When a man is what he isn't, then he isn't what he is. And as sure as I'm talking, here's a gwine to get his. Anonymous. End of section 32.
Section 33 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Disappointed. Those who have striven nobly and failed deserve sympathy. Sometimes they deserve also praise unreserved, in that they have refused to do something ignoble which would have led to what the world calls success. They have lived the idea which Macbeth merely proclaimed. Quote, I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none. End of quote. There are songs enough for the hero who dwells on the heights of fame. I sing for the disappointed, for those who have missed their aim. I sing with a tearful cadence for one who stands in the dark and knows that his last best arrow has bounded back from the mark. I sing for the breathless runner, the eager, anxious soul, who falls with his strength exhausted, almost in sight of the goal. For the hearts that break in silence, with a sorrow all unknown. For those who need companions, yet walk their ways alone. There are songs enough for the lovers who share love's tender pain. I sing for the one whose passion is given all in vain. For those whose spirit comrades have missed them on their way, I sing with a heart overflowing this minor strain today. And I know the solar system must somewhere keep in space a prize for that spent runner who barely lost the race. For the plan would be imperfect unless it held some sphere that paid for the toil and talent and love that are wasted here. Ella Wheeler Wilcox, from Picked Poems. End of section 33. Read by Alice Stein.
Section 34 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Kenneth the Teller. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Section 34, Duty by Ralph Waldo Emerson. In a single sentence, Emerson crystallizes the faith that nothing is impossible to those whose guide is duty. His words, though spoken primarily of youth, apply to the whole of human life. So nigh is grandeur to our dust, so near is God to man. When duty whispers low, "Thou must," the youth replies, "I can." By Ralph Waldo Emerson. End of section 34.
Section 35 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Shrimpfish. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Duty by Edwin Markham. When duty comes a-knocking at your gate, welcome him in, for if you bid him wait, he will depart, only to come once more, and bring 7 other duties to your door. End of section 35.
Section 36 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Phil Schempf. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Envoy. Frank K. Lane stipulated that when he died, his body should be cremated and the ashes scattered from El Capitan over the beautiful Yosemite Valley. He thus symbolized what many of us feel, the unity of our deeper and finer selves with the eternal life and loveliness of nature. O seek me not within a tomb, thou shalt not find me in the clay. I pierce a little wall of gloom to mingle with the day. I brothered with the things that pass, poor giddy joy and puckered grief. I go to brother with the grass and with the sunning leaf. Not death can sheathe me in a shroud, a joy sword whetted keen with pain. I join the armies of the cloud, the lightning and the rain. O subtle in the sap a thrill, athletic in the glad uplift, a portion of the cosmic will, I pierce the planet drift. My God and I shall internet, as rain and ocean, breath and air, and oh, the luring thought of it is prayer. John G. Neihart. From the Quest, Collected Lyrics. End of section 36.
Section 37 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Essentials. The things here named are essential to a happy and successful life. They may not be the only essentials. Roll up your sleeves, lad, and begin. Disarm misfortune with a grin. Let discontent not wag your chin. Let gratitude. Don't try to find things all askew. Don't be afraid of what is new, nor banish as unsound, untrue, a platitude. If folks don't act as you would choose, remember life has varied use. Your common sense don't get the blues, show latitude. Sing though in quavering sharps and flats, love though the folks you love are cats, work though you are worn and weary, that's the attitude. By St. Clair Adams. End of section 37, read by Nina Lilly. Section 38 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and Sinclair Adams. Fable by Ralph Waldo Emerson. To be impressed by a thing merely because it is big is a human failing. Yet our standard of judgment would be truer if we considered instead the success of that thing in performing its own particular task, and quality is better than quantity. The lioness in the old fable was being taunted because she bore only one offspring at a time, not a numerous litter. It is true, she admitted, but that one is a lion. The mountain and the squirrel had a quarrel, and the former called the latter Little Prig. Bun replied, "You are doubtless very big, but all sorts of things in weather must be taken in together to make up a year and as fair, and I think it no disgrace to occupy my place. If I'm not so large as you are not so small as I, and not half so spry. I'll not deny you make a very pretty squirrel track. Talents differ, all is well and wisely put. If I cannot carry forests on my back, neither can you crack a nut."
End of section 38, read by Nina Lilly.
Section 39 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Shrimpfish. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Fairy Song by John Keats. The great beneficent forces of life are not exhausted when once used, but are recurrent. The sun rises afresh each new day. Once a year the springtime returns, and God renews his ancient rapture. So it is with our joys. They do not stay by us constantly. They pass from us and are gone. But we need not trouble ourselves. They are sure to come back. Shed no tear, oh shed no tear. The flower will bloom another year. Weep no more, oh weep no more. Young buds sleep in the root's white core. Dry your eyes, oh dry your eyes, for I was taught in paradise to ease my breast of melodies. Shed no tear. Overhead, look overhead, 'mong the blossoms white and red. Look up, I flutter now on this flush pomegranate bough. See me, 'tis this silvery bill ever cures the good man's ill. Shed no tear, oh shed no tear. The flowers will bloom another year. Adieu, adieu, I fly, adieu. I vanish in the heavens blue. Adieu, adieu. End of section 39.
Section 40 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Larry Wilson. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Faith by S. E. Kaiser. Faith is not a passive thing, mere believing or waiting. It is an active thing, a positive striving and achievement, even if conditions be untoward. Faith is not merely praying upon your knees at night. Faith is not merely straying through darkness to the light. Faith is not merely waiting for glory that may be. Faith is not merely hating the sinful ecstasy. Faith is the brave endeavor, the splendid enterprise, the strength to serve whatever conditions may arise. End of section 40. Section 41 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Larry Wilson. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Faith by Edward Rowland Sill. Anyone who has ridden across the continent on a train must marvel at the faith and imagination of the engineers who constructed the road. The topographical advantage is seized, the grades made easy of ascent, the curves and straight stretches planned, the tunnel so carefully calculated that workmen beginning on opposite sides of a mountain met in the middle, and all this visualized and thought out before the actual work was begun. Faith has such foresight, such courage, whether it toils actively or can merely bide its time. The treetop, high above the barren field, rising beyond the night's gray folds of mist, rests stirless where the upper air is sealed to perfect silence by the faint moon kissed. But the low branches, drooping to the ground, sway to and fro as sways funereal plume, while from their restless depths low whispers sound. We fear the darkness and the gloom. Dim forms beneath us pass and reappear, and mournful tongues are menacing us here. Then from the topmost bough falls calm reply. Hush, hush, I see the coming of the morn. Swiftly the silent night is passing by, and in her bosom rosy dawn is born. 'Tis but your own dim shadows that ye see. 'Tis but your own low moans that trouble ye. So life stands, with a twilight world around. Faith turns serenely to the steadfast sky, still answering the heart that sweeps the ground, sobbing in fear and tossing restlessly. Hush, hush, the dawn breaks o'er the eastern sea. 'Tis but thine own dim shadow troubling thee. From Poems. End of section 41.
Section 42 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Larry Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Fighter by S.E. Kaiser. If life were all easy, we should degenerate into weaklings, into human mush. It is the fighting spirit that makes us strong, nor do any of us lack for a chance to exercise this spirit. Struggle is everywhere. As Kearney said at Fair Oaks, there is lovely fighting along the whole line. I fight a battle every day against discouragement and fear. Some foe stands always in my way. The path ahead is never clear. I must forever be on guard against the doubts that skulk along. I get ahead by fighting hard, but fighting keeps my spirit strong. I hear the croakings of despair, the dark predictions of the weak. I find myself pursued by care, no matter what the end I seek. My victories are small and few. It matters not how hard I strive. Each day the fight begins anew, but fighting keeps my hopes alive. My dreams are spoiled by circumstance. My plans are wrecked by fate or luck. Some hour perhaps will bring my chance, but that great hour has never struck. My progress has been slow and hard. I've had to climb and crawl and swim, fighting for every stubborn yard, but I have kept in fighting trim. I have to fight my doubts away and be on guard against my fears. The feeble croaking of dismay has been familiar through the years. My dearest plans keep going wrong. Events combine to thwart my will, but fighting keeps my spirit strong, and I am undefeated still. End of section 42.
Section 43 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by John Beeble. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Fighting Failure, by Everett Jack Appleton. I'm not a rabid, preachy Pollyanna optimist. Neither am I a gloomy grouch. I believe in a loving divine providence who expects you to play the game to the limit, who wants you to hold tight to his hand, and who compensates you for the material losses by giving you the ability to retain your sense of values and keep your spiritual sand out of the bearings of your physical machine, if you'll trust and keep sweet, keep cheerful, or else keep still. Quote by Everett Jack Appleton. He has come the way of the fighting men and fought by the rules of the game, and out of life he has gathered, what, a living and little fame. Ever and ever the goal looms near, seeming each time worthwhile, but ever it proves a mirage fair, ever the grim gods smile. And so, with lips hard set and white, he buries the hope that is gone. His fight is lost, and he knows it is lost, and yet he is fighting on. Out of the smoke of the battle line, watching men win their way, and cheering with those who cheer success, he enters again the fray, licking the blood and the dust from his lips, wiping the sweat from his eyes. He does the work he is set to do, and therein honor lies. Brave they were, these men he cheered, theirs is the winner's thrill. His fight is lost, and he knows it is lost, and yet he is fighting still. And those who won have rest and peace, and those who died have more. But weary and spent, he cannot stop seeking the ultimate score. Courage was theirs for a little time, but what of the man who sees that he must lose, yet will not beg mercy upon his knees? Side by side with grim defeat, he struggles at dusk or dawn. His fight is lost, and he knows it is lost, and yet he is fighting on. Praise for the warriors who succeed, and tears for the vanquished dead. The world will hold them close to her heart, wreathing each honored head. But there in the ranks, soul sick, time tried, he battles against the odds, sans hope, but true to his colors torn, the plaything of the gods. Uncover when he goes by at last, held to his task by will. The fight is lost, and he knows it is lost, and yet he is fighting still. End of section 43.
Section 44 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Firm of Grin and Barrett by Sam Walter Foss. It has been said that when disaster overtakes us, we can do one of two things. We can grin and bear it, or we needn't grin. The spirit that keeps a smile on our faces when our burden is heaviest is the spirit that will win in the long run. Many men know how to take success quietly. The real test of a man is the way he takes failure. No financial throe volcanic ever yet was known to scare it. Never yet was any panic scared the firm of Grin and Barrett. From the flurry and the fluster, from the ruin and the crashes, they arise in brighter luster, like the phoenix from his ashes. When the banks and corporations quake with fear, they do not share it. Smiling through all perturbations goes the firm of Grin and Barrett. Grin and Barrett, who can scare it? Scare the firm of Grin and Barrett? When the tide sweep of reverses smites them, firm they stand and dare it without wailings, tears, or curses, this stout firm of Grin and Barrett. Even should their house go under in the flood and inundation, calm they stand amid the thunder, without noise or demonstration. And when sackcloth is the fashion, with a patient smile they wear it, without petulance or passion, this old firm of Grin and Bear It. Grin and Bear It, who can scare it? Scare the firm of Grin and Bear It? When the other firms show dizziness, here's a house that does not share it. Wouldn't you like to join the business? Join the firm of Grin and Bear It? Give your strength that does not murmur, and your nerve that does not falter, and you've joined a house that's firmer than the old rock of Gibraltar. They have won a good prosperity, why not join the firm and share it? Step, young fellow, with celerity, join the firm of Grin and Bear It. Grin and Bear It, who can scare it? Scare the firm of Grin and Bear It. End of section 44. Read by Brian Fullen, Plano, Texas.
Section 45 of It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Poor Things by Henry Van Dyke. What are the qualities of ideal manhood? Various people have given various answers to this question. Here the poet states what quality he thinks indispensable. 4 things a man must learn to do if he would make his record true: to think without confusion clearly, to love his fellow men sincerely, to act from honest motives purely, to trust in God and heaven securely. End of section 45, read by Michael Ruffin, a.k.a. Craig 123.
Section 46 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Friends of Mine by James W. Foley. We like to be hospitable. To what should we be more hospitable than a glad spirit or a kind impulse? Good morning, Brother Sunshine. Good morning, Sister Song. I beg your humble pardon if you've waited very long. I thought I heard you rapping to shut you out were sin. My heart is standing open. Won't you walk right in? Good morning, Brother Gladness. Good morning, Sister Smile. They told me you were coming, so I waited on a while. I'm lonesome here without you, a weary while it's been. My heart is standing open. Won't you walk right in? Good morning, Brother Kindness. Good morning, Sister Cheer. I heard you were out calling, so I waited for you here. Some way I keep forgetting I have to toil or spin when you are my companions. Won't you walk right in? End of section 46. Read by Brian Fullen, Plano, Texas, April 2025.
Section 47 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Larry Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Game by Grantland Rice. Lessing said that if God should come to him with truth in one hand and the never-ending pursuit of truth in the other, and should offer him his choice, he would humbly and reverently take the pursuit of truth. Perhaps it is best that finite beings should not attain infinite success, but however remote that for which they seek or strive, they may by their diligence and generosity make the very effort to secure it noble. In doing this, they earn, as Pope tells us, a truer commendation than success itself could bring them. Act well thy part. There all the honor lies. Let's play it out, this little game called life, where we are listed for so brief a spell, not just to win among the tumult rife, or where acclaim and gay applauses swell, nor just to conquer where someone must lose, or reach the goal whatever be the cost, for there are other better ways to choose, though in the end the battle may be lost. Let's play it out as if it were a sport, wherein the game is better than the goal, and never mind the detailed scorer's report of errors made, if each with dauntless soul, but stick it out until the day is done, not wasting fairness for success or fame. So when the battle has been lost or won, the world at least can say he played the game. Let's play it out, this little game called work or war or love or what part each may draw. Play like a man who scorns to quit or shirk because the break may carry some deep flaw, nor simply holding that the goal is all that keeps the player in the contest staying, but stick it out from curtain rise to fall, as if the game itself were worth the playing. End of section 47.
Section 48 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Gifts of God. Why are we never entirely satisfied? Why are we never at absolute peace or rest? Many are the answers that have been made to this question. The answer here given by the poet is that so richly is man endowed with qualities and attributes that if contentment were added to them, he would be satisfied with what he has, and would not strive for that which is higher still, the fulfillment of his spiritual cravings. When God at first made man, having a glass of blessings standing by, "Let us," said he, "pour on him all we can. Let the world's riches, which dispersed lie, contract into a span." So strength first made a way, then beauty flowed, then wisdom, honor, pleasure. When almost all was out, God made a stay, perceiving that alone, of all his treasure, rest in the bottom lay. "For if I should," said he, "bestow this jewel also on my creature, he would adore my gifts instead of me, and rest in nature, not the God of nature, so both should losers be. Yet let him keep the rest, but keep them with repining restlessness. Let him be rich and weary, that at least, if goodness lead him not, yet weariness may toss him to my breast." George Herbert. End of section 48.
Section 49 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Larry Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Gift by Robert Burns. Trust thyself, says Emerson. Every heart vibrates to that iron string. This is wholesome and inspiring advice, but there is, as always, another side to the question. Many a man falls into absurdities and mistakes because he cannot get outside of himself and look at himself from other people's eyes. We should cultivate the ability to see everything, including ourselves, from more than one standpoint. Oh, would some power the giftie give us to see ourselves as others see us, and would free many a blunder free us, and foolish notion, what airs in dress and gait would leave us, and even devotion. End of section 49.
Section 50 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Gladness. A coal miner does not need the sun's illumination. He carries his own light. The world has brought not anything to make me glad today. The swallow had a broken wing, and after all my journeying there was no water in the spring. My friend has said me nay. But yet somehow I needs must sing, as on a luckier day. Dusk fails as grey as any tear, there is no hope in sight, but something in me seems so fair that like a star I needs must wear a safety made of shining air between me and the night. Such inner weavings do I wear, all fashioned of delight. I need not for these robes of mine the loveliness of earth, but happenings remote and fine, like threads of dreams, will blow and shine in gossamer and crystalline. And I was glad from birth. So, even while my eyes repine, my heart is clothed in mirth. Anna Hampstead Branch, from The Shoes That Danced, and Other Poems. End of section 50. Read by Alice Stein.
Section 51 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Larry Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Glad Song by Joseph Morris. Gladness begins with the first person, with you. It may spread far like ripples when you toss a stone in the water. Sing a song, sing a song. Ring the glad bells all along. Smile at him who frowns at you. He will smile, and then there too. Laugh a bit, laugh a bit. Folks will soon be catching it. Can't resist a happy face. World will be a merry place. Laugh a bit and sing a song. Where they are, there's nothing wrong. Joy will dance the whole world through, but it must begin with you. End of section 51. Section 52 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Larry Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. God by Gamaliel Bradford. We often think people shallow, think them incapable of anything serious or profound, because their work is humdrum and their speech trivial. Such a judgment is unfair, since that part of our own life which shows itself to others is superficial likewise. though we are conscious that within us is much that it does not reveal. I think about God, yet I talk of small matters. Now, isn't that odd how my idle tongue chatters of quarrelsome neighbors, fine weather and rain, indifferent labors, indifferent pain? Some trivial style fashion shifts with a nod, and yet all the while I am thinking of God. End of section 52.
Section 53 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Paul Grancio. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Good Deeds by William Shakespeare. The influence of good deeds usually extends far beyond the limits we can see or trace, but as well not have the power to do them as not use it. How far that little candle throws his beams, so shines a good deed in a naughty world. Heaven doth with us as we with torches do, not light them for themselves, for if our virtues did not go forth of us, 'twere all alike, as if we had them not. End of section 53.
Section 54 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Good Intentions by St. Clair Adams. Thinking you would like a square meal will not in itself earn you one. Thinking you would like a strong body will not without effort on your part make you an athlete. Thinking you would like to be kind or successful will not bring you gentleness or achievement if you stop with mere thinking. The arrows of intention must have the bow of strong purpose to impel them. The road to hell, they assure me, with good intentions is paved, and I know my desires are noble, but my deeds might brand me depraved. It's the warped grain in our nature, and St. Paul has written it true. The good that I would I do not, but the evil I would not I do. I've met few men who are monsters, when I came to know them inside, yet the bearing and dealings external are crusted with cruelty, pride, scorn, selfishness, envy, indifference, greed, why the long list pursue? The good that they would they do not, but the evil they would not they do. Intentions may still leave us beast-like, with unchangeable purpose we're men. We must drive the nail home and then clinch it, or storms shake it loose again. In things of great import and trifles, we our recreant souls must subdue, till the evil we would not we do not, and the good that we would we do. End of section. Read by Nina Lilly.
Section 55 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. A Good Name by William Shakespeare. We should respect the good name of other people and should safeguard our own by a high sense of honour. At the close of the Civil War, a representative of an insurance company offered Robert E. Lee the presidency of the firm at a salary of $50,000 a year. Lee replied that while he wished to earn his living, he doubted whether his services would be worth so large a sum. "We don't want your services," the man interrupted. "We want your name." "That," said Lee quietly, "is not for sale." He accepted instead the presidency of a college at $1,500 a year. good name in man and woman, dear my lord, is the immediate jewel of their souls. Who steals my purse steals trash. 'Tis something, nothing. 'Twas mine, 'tis his, and has been slave to thousands. But he that filches from me my good name robs me of that which not enriches him, and makes me poor indeed. End of section 55. Read by Ingrid Falk, Béziers, France, March 2025.
Section 56 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Carl Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Gradatim. In the old fable, the tortoise won the race from the hare not by a single burst of speed, but by plodding on steadily, tirelessly. In the Civil War, it was found that Lee's army could not be overwhelmed in a single battle, but one Federal general perceived that it could be worn down by time and pressure of numbers. "I propose," said Grant, "to fight it out on this line if it takes all summer." It took more than a summer. It took nearly a year, but he did it. In the moral realm, likewise, all things excellent are as difficult as they are rare. Character is not attained overnight. The only way to develop moral muscles is to exercise them patiently and long. Heaven is not reached at a single bound, but we build the ladder by which we rise, from the lowly earth to the vaulted skies, and we mount to its summit, round by round. I count this thing to be grandly true, that a noble deed is a step towards God, lifting the soul from the common clod, to a purer air and a broader view. We rise by things that are under feet, by what we have mastered of good and gain, by the pride deposed and the passion slain, and the vanquished ills we hourly meet. We hope, we aspire, we resolve, we trust, when the morning calls us to life and light, but our heart grows weary, and ere the night, our lives are trailing in the sordid dust. We hope, we resolve, we aspire, we pray, we think that we mount the air on wings, beyond the recall of sensual things, while our feet still cling to the heavy clay. Wings for the angels, but feet for men. We may borrow the wings to find the way. We may hope and resolve and aspire and pray, but our feet must rise, or we fall again. Only in dreams is a ladder thrown, from the weary earth to the sapphire walls, but the dreams depart and the vision falls, and the sleeper wakes on his pillow of stone. Heaven is not reached at a single bound, but we build the ladder by which we rise, from the lowly earth to the vaulted skies, and we mount to its summit, round by round. J. G. Holland, from Complete Poetical Works. End of section 56.
Section 57 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Shrimpfish. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Grey Days by Griffith Alexander. By reckoning up the odds against us and ignoring the forces in our favor, we may indeed close the door of hope. But why not take matters the other way about? Why not see the situation clearly, and then throw our own strong purpose in the scales? In the course of a battle, an officer reported to Stonewall Jackson that he must fall back because his ammunition had been spoiled by a rainstorm. "So has the enemy's," was the instant reply. "Give them the bayonet." This resolute spirit won the battle. Hang the grey days, the deuce to pay days, the feeling blue and nothing to do days, the sit by yourself for there's nothing new days. when the cat that care killed without excuse, with your inner selves crying, "Oh, what's the use?" and you wonder whatever is going to become of you, and you feel that a cipher expresses the sum of you, and you know that you'll never, oh never be clever, spite of all your endeavor, or hard work or whatever. Oh, gee, what a mix-up you see when you look at the world where you happen to be, where strangers are hateful and friends are a bore, and you know in your heart you will smile nevermore. Gee, kid, clap on the lid. It is all a mistake, give your worries the skid. There are sunny days coming, succeeding the blue, and bees will be humming, making honey for you, and your heart will be singing the merriest tune, while April is bringing a May and a June. Gray days? Play days! Joy-bringing pay days, and heart-lifting May days. The sun will be shining in just a wee while, so smile. End of section 57.
Section 58 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by John Beeble. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Greatness of the Soul by Alfred Tennyson. Geologists tell us that in the long processes of the ages, mountains have been raised and leveled, continents formed and washed away. Astronomers tell us that in space are countless worlds, many of them doubtless inhabited, perhaps by creatures of a lower type than we, perhaps by creatures of a higher. The magnitude of these changes in these worlds makes the imagination reel. But on one thing we can rely, the greatness of the human soul. On one thing we can confidently build, the men whose spirit is lofty, divine. For though the giant ages heave the hill, and break the shore, and evermore make and break and work their will, though world on world in myriad myriads roll, round us, each with different powers, and other forms of life than ours, what know we greater than the soul? On God and godlike men we build our trust. End of section 58.
Section 59 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Grief by Angela Morgan. Shakespeare says, "I can easier teach 20 what were good to be done than be one of the 20 to follow mine own teaching." This is especially true regarding grief or affliction. Man was born unto trouble as the sparks fly upward, but we bid other people bear their sorrows manfully. We should therefore bear ours with equal courage. Upon this trouble shall I whet my life as 'twere a dulling knife. Bade I my friend be brave? I shall still braver be. No man shall say of me, others he saved, himself he cannot save. But swift and fair as the primeval word that smote the night, let there be light. Courage shall leap from me, a gallant sword to rout the enemy and all his horde, cleaving a kingly pathway through despair. End of section 59. Read by Ingrid Falk in Béziers, France, March 2025.
Section 60 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Larry Wilson. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Grumpy Guy by Griffith Alexander. When students came, full of ambition, to the great scientist Agassiz, he gave them each a fish and told them to find out what he could about it. They went to work, and in a day or two were ready for their report. But Agassiz didn't come round. To kill time they went to work again, observed, dissected, conjectured. And when at the end of a fortnight Agassiz finally appeared, they felt that their knowledge was really exhaustive. The master's brief comment was that they had made a fair beginning, and again he left. They then fell to in earnest, and after weeks and months of investigation declared that a fish was the most fascinating of studies. If our interest in life fails, it is not from material to work on. No two leaves are alike. No two human beings are alike. And if we are discerning, the attraction of any one of them is infinite. The Grumpy Guy was feeling blue. The Grumpy Guy was glum. The Grumpy Guy with baleful eye took misery for a chum. He hailed misfortunes as his pals and murmured, "Let 'em come." "Oh, what's the blooming use?" he yelped, his face in angry red, "when everything's been thought before and everything's been said? And what's a grumpy guy to do except to go to bed? And where's the joy the poets sing, the merriment and fun? How can one start a thing that's new when everything's begun? When everything's been planned before and everything's been done? When everything's been dreamed before and everything's been sought? When everything that ever ran has, so to speak, been caught? When every game's been played before and every battle fought? I started him at solitaire, a fooling, piffling game. He played it 97 hours and failed to find it tame. In all the times he dealt the cards, no two games were the same. He never tumbled to its tricks, nor mastered all its curves. He grunted, "Well, this takes the cake, the pickles, and the preserves. Its infinite variety is getting on my nerves." "It's infinite variety," I scoffed. "Just 52 poor trifling bits of pasteboard. Their combinations few, compared to what there is in man. The poorest, even you." "Variety! You'll never find in 47 decks 1/10 of the variety found in the gentler sex. Card combinations are but frills to hang around their necks. The sun won't rise tomorrow as it came to us today. 'Twill be older, we'll be older, and to time this debt we pay. For nothing can repeat itself, for nothing knows the way." Then the grumpy guy was silent as a miser hoarding pelf. He knew 'twas time to put his grouch away upon the shelf. And so he did. You see, I was just talking to myself. From the Pittsburgh Dispatch. End of section 60.
Section 61 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Shrimpfish. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Happy Heart by Thomas Dekker. One of our objects in life should be to find happiness, contentment. The means of happiness are surprisingly simple. We need not be rich or high-placed or powerful in order to be content. In fact, the lowly are often the best satisfied. Isaac Walton lived the simple life and thanked God that there were so many things in the world of which he had no need. Art thou poor, yet hast thou golden slumbers, O sweet content. Art thou rich, yet is thy mind perplexed, O punishment. Dost thou laugh to see how fools are vexed, to add to golden numbers golden numbers? O sweet content, O sweet content. Work apace, 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 apace. Honest labor bears a lovely face. Then hey nonny nonny, hey nonny nonny. Canst drink the waters of the crisped spring? O sweet content! Swimm'st thou in wealth, yet sink'st in thine own tears? O punishment! Then he that patiently wants burden bears, no burden bears, but is a king, a king! O sweet content, O sweet content! Work apace, 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 apace. Honest labor bears a lovely face. Then hey nonny nonny, hey nonny nonny. End of section 61. Section 62 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Shrimpfish. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Has-Beens by Walt Mason. I read the papers every day and often counter tales which show there's hope for every jay who in life's battle fails. I've just been reading of a gent who joined the has-been ranks at 50 years without a cent or credit at the banks. But undismayed he buckled down, refusing to be beat, and captured fortune and renown. He's now on Easy Street. Men say that fellows down and out ne'er leave the rocky track, but facts will show, beyond a doubt, that has-beens do come back. I know, for I, who write this rhyme when 40-odd years old, was down and out without a dime, my whiskers full of mold. By black disaster I was trounced until it jarred my spine. I was a failure so pronounced I didn't need a sign. And after I had soaked my coat, I said, at 43, I'll see if I can catch the goat that has escaped from me. I labored hard, I strained my dome, to do my daily grind, until in triumph I came home, my billy goat behind. And any man who still has health may with the winners stack, and have a chance at fame and wealth, for has-beens do come back. End of section 62.
Section 63 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Having Done and Doing by William Shakespeare. Adapted from Troilus and Cressida. A member of Parliament, having succeeded notably in his maiden effort at speech-making, remained silent through the rest of his career lest he should not duplicate his triumph. This course was stupid. In time, the address which had brought him fame became a theme for disparagement and mockery. A man cannot rest upon his laurels, else he will soon lack the laurels to rest on. If he has true ability, he must from time to time show it, instead of asking us to recall what he did in the past. There is a natural instinct which makes the whole world kin. It is distrust of a mere reputation. It is a hankering to be shown. Unless the evidence to set us right is forthcoming, we will praise dust which is gilded over, rather than gold which is dusty from disuse. Time hath, my lord, a wallet at his back, wherein he puts alms for oblivion, a great-sized monster of ingratitudes. Those scraps are good deeds past, which are devoured as fast as they are made, forgot as soon as done. Perseverance, dear my lord, keeps honor bright. To have done is to hang, quite out of fashion, like a rusty mail in monumental mockery. Take the instant way, for honor travels in a strait so narrow, where one but goes abreast. Keep, then, the path, for emulation hath 1,000 sons, that one by one pursue, if you give way, or hedge aside from the direct forthright. Like to an entered tide they all rush by, and leave you hindmost. Or, like a gallant horse fallen in first rank, lie there for pavement to the abject rear. o'errun and trampled on, then what they do in present, though less than yours in past, must o'ertop yours. For time is like a fashionable host, that slightly shakes his parting guest by the hand, and with his arms outstretched, as he would fly, grasps in the comer, welcome ever smiles, and farewell goes out sighing. Oh, let not virtue seek remuneration for the thing it was, for beauty, wit, high birth, vigor of bone, deserted service, love, friendship, charity, are subjects all to envious and calumniating time. One touch of nature makes the whole world kin, that all with one consent praise new-born gods, though they are made and moulded of things past, and give to dust that is a little guilt, more laud than guilt o'er-dusted. The present eye praises the present object, since things in motion sooner catch the eye than what not stirs. William Shakespeare. End of section 63.
Section 64 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Carl Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Heinelet. What sheer perseverance can accomplish, even in matters of the heart, is revealed in this little poem written in Heine's mood of mingled seriousness and gaiety. He asked if she could ever love him. She answered him no on the spot. He asked if she could ever love him. She assured him again she could not. He asked if she could ever love him. She laughed till his blushes he hid. He asked if she could ever love him. By God, she admitted, she did. Gamaliel Bradford, from Shadow Verses. End of section 64.
Section 65 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Shrimpfish. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Helpin' Out by William Judson Kibbe. I always look out for number one, was the favorite remark of a man who thought he had found the great rule to success, but he had only stated his own doctrine of selfishness, and his life was never very successful. A man must be big to succeed, and selfishness is always cramping and narrow. Dar's a lot of folks what preach all day, and always pointin' out de way. Dey say dat prayin' all de time, and keepin' yo' heart all full of rhyme, will lead yo' soul to heights above, while angels coo like a turtle dove. But I's jest lookin' around, dat's me. I's trustin' lots in what I see. It 'pears to me dar's lots to do before we pass dat heavenly blue. I believes in prayin', preachin' about, but I believe a lot more in helpin' out. I believes in religion, it's mighty sweet, but the kind that gets in yo' hands and feet, and makes you work when dey ain't no praise, nothin' but a heart that's all ablaze. If it rains or shines, dey's des the same. Say, bless you, honey, sunshine's dey name. Dey don't fuss round 'bout how much pay, but climbs up the trail helpin' all the way. The load is often twice their size, and smiling is their biggest prize. They never gets this awful gout, 'cause they's busy all the time in helpin' out. We had an old mule on Massa's place. As fo' looks, he'd certainly lose the race, but there wa'n't a horse for miles around could pull more load or plow more ground. And when that donkey brayed his best, he seemed to know he'd lick the rest. That bray of his was strong as wool. it always come at the hardest pull. We need more mules with brains on guard, that knows the game of pullin' hard, and a heart that's tender, true, and stout, that believes all day in helpin' out. We's all des human, des common clay, des need little help to make work play. I's read a lot of philosophy day and night, and worked around a heap wid the law of right. I's seen the high and mighty come and go. I's seen the simple spirit come from below. And I's seen a lot of principle most folks miss. I's not a stretchin' truth when I say dis. Keep a smilin' and a lovin' and a doin' all yo can, for yo loses all yo trouble when yo help yo fellow man. And you gift some best yourself, and of this they ain't no doubt, when you practice the art of always helpin' out. End of section 65.
Section 66 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Carl Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Here's hopin'. An optimist has been described as a man who orders oysters at a restaurant and expects to find a pearl to pay the bill with. Of course, this is not optimism but brazen brainlessness. Yet, somehow, the pearls only come to those who expect them. Year ain't been the very best, purty hard by trouble pressed, but the rough way leads the rest. Here's hopin'. Maybe craps way short the rills, couldn't turn the silent mills, but the lights behind the hills. Here's hopin'. Where we planted roses sweet, thorns come up and prick the feet, but this old world's hard to beat. Here's hopin'. P'raps the building that we planned 'gainst the cyclone couldn't stand, but thank God we've got the land. Here's hopin'. Maybe flowers we hoped to save have been scattered on a grave, but the heart's still beatin' brave. Here's hopin'. That we'll see the morning light, that the very darkest night can't hide heaven from our sight. Here's hopin'. Frank L. Stanton, from the Atlanta Constitution. End of section 66.
Section 67 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by John Beeble. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. A Hero by Florence Earle Coates. If defeat strengthens and sweetens character, it is not defeat at all, but victory. He sang of joy, whate'er he knew of sadness, he kept for his own heart's peculiar share. So well he sang, the world imagined gladness to be sole tenant there. For dreams were his, and in the dawn's fair shining, his spirit soared beyond the mounting lark. But from his lips no accent of repining fell when the days grew dark. And though contending long dread fate to master, he failed at last her enmity to cheat. He turned with such a smile to face disaster, that he sublimed defeat. End of section 67.
Section 68 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Shrimpfish. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. He Whom a Dream Hath Possessed by Seamus O'Sheel. The man possessed by a vision is not perplexed, troubled, restricted as the rest of us are, he wanders yet is not lost from home, sees a million dawns, yet never night descending, faces death and destruction, and in them finds triumph. He whom a dream hath possessed knoweth no more of doubting, for mists and the blowing of winds and the mouthing of words he scorns. Not the sinuous speech of schools he hears, but a nightly shouting, and never comes darkness down, yet he greeteth a million morns. He whom a dream hath possessed knoweth no more of roaming. All the roads and the flowing of waves and the speediest flight he knows. But wherever his feet are set, his soul is forever homing, and going he comes, and coming he heareth a call and goes. He whom a dream hath possessed knoweth no more of sorrow. At death and the dropping of leaves and the fading of suns he smiles. For a dream remembers no past and scorns the desire of a morrow, and in a dream, in a sea of doom, sets surely the ultimate isles. He whom a dream hath possessed treads the impalpable marches. From the dust of the day's long road he leaps to a laughing star, and the ruin of worlds that fall he views from eternal arches, and rides God's battlefield in a flashing and golden car. End of section 68.
Section 69 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Carl Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. His Ally. The thought of this poem is that a man's best helper may be that which gives him no direct aid at all, a sense of humour. He fought for his soul and the stubborn fighting, tried hard his strength. One needs 7 souls for this long requiting, he said at length. 6 times I have come where my first hope jeered me, and laughed me to scorn, but now I fear as I never feared me, to fall forsworn. God, when they fight upright and at me, I give them back, even such blows as theirs that combat me, but now, alack! They fight with the wiles of fiends escaping, and underhand. 6 times, O God, my wounds are gaping, I reel to stand. 6 battles span by this gasping breath, no pantomime. 'Tis all that I can, I am sick unto death, and a 7th time. This is beyond all battle's soreness, then his wonder cried, for laughter with shield and steely harness stood up at his side. William Rose Benet, from The Merchants of Cathay. End of section 69.
Section 70 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Shrimpfish. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Ho Your Row by Frank L. Stanton. We must not dream of harvests and neglect the toil that produces them. The fields'll soon be hummin' round the country high and low. The harvest is a-comin'. Ho yo row, ho yo row. No time now for the sleeper. It's get up now and go. It's the sower makes the reaper. Ho yo row, ho yo row. It's sweet the birds is singin', the songs you lovin' so, but the harvest bells is ringin'. Ho yo row, ho yo row. End of section 70.
Section 71 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Hold Fast by Everard Jack Appleton. A football coach who told his players that their rivals were too strong for them would be seeking a new position the next year. If the opposing team is formidable, he says so. If his men have their work cut out for them, he admits it. But he mentions these things as incitements to effort. Merely saying of victory that it can be won is among the surest ways of winning it. When you're nearly drowned in trouble and the world is dark as ink, when you feel yourself a-sinking 'neath the strain, and you think, I've got to holler help, just take another breath and pretend you've lost your voice and can't complain. That's the idea. Pretend you've lost your voice and can't complain. When the future glowers at you like a threatening thundercloud, just grit your teeth and bend your head and say, it's dark and disagreeable, and I can't help feeling blue, but there's comin' sure as fate a brighter day. Say it slowly. But there's comin' sure as fate a brighter day. You have bluffed your way through ticklish situations, that I know. You are looking back on troubles past and gone. Now turn the tables, and as you have fought and won before, just bluff yourself to keep on holding on. Try it once. Just bluff yourself to keep on holding on. Don't worry if the roseate hues of life are faded out. Bend low before the storm and wait a while. The pendulum is bound to swing again, and you will find that you have not forgotten how to smile. That's the truth, that you have not forgotten how to smile. Everard Jack Appleton from The Quiet Courage. End of section 71.
Section 72 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Carl Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Hope. Gloom and despair are really ignorance in another form. They fail to reckon with the fact that what appears to be baneful often turns out to be good. Lincoln lost the senatorship to Douglas and thought he had ended his career. Had he won the contest, he might have remained only a senator. Life often has surprise parties for us. Things come to us masked in gloom and black, but time, the revealer, strips off the disguise, and lo, what we have is blessings. Never go gloomy, man with a mind. Hope is a better companion than fear. Providence, ever benignant and kind, gives with a smile what you take with a tear. All will be right. Look to the light. Morning was ever the daughter of night. All that was black will be all that is bright. Cheerily, cheerily, then cheer up. Many a foe is a friend in disguise, many a trouble a blessing most true, helping the heart to be happy and wise, with love ever precious and joys ever new. Stand in the van, strike like a man, this is the bravest and cleverest plan, trusting in God while you do what you can, cheerily, cheerily, then cheer up. Anonymous. End of section 72.
Section 73 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. A hopeful brother, a crippled miner, remarked that he had hunted for gold for 25 years. He was asked how much he had found. None, he replied, but the prospects are good. If you ask him day or night, when the whirlwind running right, anything that's good inside, this is allus what he'd say in his uncomplaining way. Well, I'm hoping, when the winter days was nigh, and the clouds froze in the sky, never sot him down to sigh, but still singing on his way, he would stop long enough to say, well, I'm hoping. Dying asked of him that night, spirit waiting for its flight, brother, ere your prospects bright. The last words they heard him say, in the old sweet cheerful way, well, I'm hoping. Frank L. Stanton. End of section 73.
Section 74 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The House by the Side of the Road. This poem has its keynote friendship and sympathy for other people. It is a paradox of life that by hoarding love and happiness we lose them, and that only by giving them away can we keep them for ourselves. The more we share, the more we possess. We of course find in other people weaknesses and sins, but our best means of curing these are through a wise and sympathetic understanding. Let me live in a house by the side of the road, where the race of men go by, the men who are good and the men who are bad, as good and as bad as I. I will not sit in the scorner's seat, or hurl the cynic's ban. Let me live in a house by the side of the road, and be a friend to man. I see from my house by the side of the road, by the side of the highway of life, the men who press with the ardor of hope, the men who are faint with the strife. But I turn not away from their smiles nor their tears, both parts of an infinite plan. Let me live in my house by the side of the road, and be a friend to man. I know there are brook-gladdened meadows ahead, and mountains of wearisome height, and the road passes on through the long afternoon, and stretches away to the night. But still I rejoice when the travelers rejoice, and weep with the strangers that mourn, nor live in my house by the side of the road, like a man who dwells alone. Let me live in my house by the side of the road, where the race of men go by. They are good, they are bad, they are weak, they are strong, wise, foolish, so am I. Then why should I sit in the scorner's seat, or hurl the cynic's ban? Let me live in my house by the side of the road, and be a friend to man. Sam Walter Foss, from Dreams in Homespun. End of section 74.
Section 75 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Carl Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. How Did You Die? Grant at Fort Donelson demanded unconditional and immediate surrender. At Appomattox, he offered as lenient terms as victor ever extended to vanquished. Why the difference? The one event was at the beginning of the war, when the enemy's morale must be shaken. The other at the end of the conflict, when a brave and noble adversary had been rendered helpless. In his quiet way, Grant showed himself one of nature's gentlemen. He also taught a great lesson. No honor can be too great for the man, be he even our foe, who has steadily and uncomplainingly done his very best, and has failed. Did you tackle that trouble that came your way with a resolute heart and cheerful, or hide your face from the light of day with a craven soul and fearful? Oh, a trouble's a ton, or a trouble's an ounce, or a trouble is what you make it. And it isn't the fact that you're hurt that counts, but only how did you take it. You are beaten to earth. Well, well, what's that? Come up with a smiling face. It's nothing against you to fall down flat, but to lie there, that's disgrace. The harder you're thrown, why the higher you bounce. Be proud of your blackened eye. It isn't the fact that you're licked that counts, it's how did you fight, and why. And though you be done to the death, what then, if you battled the best you could? If you played your part in the world of men, why, the critic will call it good. Death comes with a crawl, or comes with a pounce, and whether he's slow or spry, it isn't the fact that you're dead that counts, but only, how did you die? Edmund Vance Cook, from Impertinent Poems, end of section 75. Section 76 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Carl Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. How do you tackle your work? It would be foolish to begin digging a tunnel through a mountain with a mere pick and spade. We must assemble for the task great mechanical contrivances, and so, with our energies of will, a slight tool means a slight achievement. A huge aggressive engine driving on at full blast means corresponding bigness of results. How do you tackle your work each day? Are you scared of the job you find? Do you grapple the task that comes your way with a confident, easy mind? Do you stand right up to the work ahead, or fearfully pause to view it? Do you start to toil with a sense of dread, or feel that you're going to do it? You can do as much as you think you can, but you'll never accomplish more. If you're afraid of yourself, young man, there's little for you in store. For failure comes from the inside first. It's there if we only knew it. And you can win, though you face the worst, if you feel that you're going to do it. Success is found in the soul of you, and not in the realm of luck. The world will furnish the work to do, but you must provide the pluck. You can do whatever you think you can. It's all in the way you view it. It's all in the start you make, young man. You must feel that you are going to do it. How do you tackle your work each day? With confidence clear or dread? What, to yourself, do you stop and say when a new task lies ahead? What is the thought that is in your mind? Is fear ever running through it? If so, just tackle the next you find by thinking you're going to do it. Edgar A. Guest, from A Hippo Livin'. End of section 76.
Section 77 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Shrimpfish. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. A Hymn to Happiness by James W. Foley. A man who owed Artemus Ward $200 fell into such hard circumstances that Artemus offered to knock off half the debt. "I won't let you outdo me in generosity," said the man. "I'll knock off the other half." Similarly, when we resolve to live down our causes of gloom, fate comes to our aid and removes most of them altogether. Let us smile along together, be the weather what it may, through the waste and wealth of ours, plucking flowers by the way, fragrance from the meadows blowing, naught of heat or hatred knowing, kindness seeking, kindness sowing, not tomorrow, but today. Let us sing along, beguiling grief to smiling in the song, with the promises of heaven let us leaven the day long, gilding all the duller seemings with the rose light of our dreamings, splashing clouds with sunlight's gleamings, here and there and all along. Let us live along the sorrow of tomorrow, never heed. In the pages of the present, what is pleasant, only read. Bells but pealing, never knelling, hearts with gladness ever swelling, tides of charity upwelling in our every dream and deed. Let us hope along together, be the weather what it may, where the sunlight glad is shining, not repining by the way. Seek to add our meed and measure to the old earth's joy and treasure, quaff the crystal cup of pleasure, not tomorrow, but today. End of section 77.
Section 78 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Carl Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. If I were fire, I'd burn the world away. If I were wind, I'd turn my storms thereon. If I were water, I'd soon let it drown. Cecco Angioleri. If I were fire, I'd seek the frozen north, and warm it till it blossomed fairly forth, and in the sweetness of its smiling mien resembled some soft southern garden scene. And when the winter came again, I'd seek the chilling homes of lowly ones and meek, and do my small but most efficient part to bring a wealth of comfort to the heart. If I were wind, I'd turn my breath upon the calm-bound mariner until anon the eager craft on which he sailed should find the harbour blessed towards which it hath inclined. And in the city streets, when summer's days were withering the souls with scorching rays, I'd seek the fevered brow and aching eyes, and take them a touch of paradise. If I were water, it would be my whim to seek out all the earth's desert places grim, and turn each arid acre to a fair, lush home of flowers and oases rare. Resolved in dew, I'd nestle in the rose, as summer rain I'd ease the harvest woes, and where a tear to pain would be relief, a tear I'd be to kill the sting of grief. If I were gold, I'd seek the poor man's purse, I'd try to win my way into the verse of some grand singer of man's brotherhood, and prove myself so pure, so fraught with good, that all the world would bless me for the cup of happiness I'd brought for all to sup. And when my last work of joy was over, I'd be content to die and be no more. John Kendrick Bangs. From Songs of Cheer. End of section 78.
Section 79 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Escher Vane. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. If. The central idea of this poem is that success comes from self-control and the true sense of the values of things. In extremes lies danger. A man must not lose heart because of doubts or opposition, yet he must do his best to see the grounds for both. He must not be deceived into thinking either triumph or disaster final. He must use each wisely and push on. In all things he must hold to the golden mean. If he does, he will own the world, and even better, for his personal reward, he will attain the full stature of manhood. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for the doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream, and not make dreams your master, if you can think, and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster, and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings, and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose, and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart, and nerve, and sinew, to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you, except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds, and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth, and everything that's in it. And which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Rudyard Kipling. From Rudyard Kipling's verse 1885 to 1918. End of section 79.
Section 80 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Carl Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. If I Should Die. A man whose word is as good as his bond is a man the world admires. It is related of Fox that a tradesman whom he had long owed money found him one day counting gold and asked for payment. Fox replied, "No, I owe this money to Sheridan. It is a debt of honour. If an accident should happen to me, he has nothing to show." The tradesman tore his note to pieces. "I change my debt into a debt of honour." Fox thanked him and handed over the money, saying that Sheridan's debt was not of so long standing and that Sheridan must wait. But most of us know men who are less scrupulous than Fox. If I should die tonight, and you should come to my cold corpse and say, weeping and heartsick over my lifeless clay, if I should die tonight, and you should come in deepest grief and woe, and say, here's that $10 that I owe, I might arise in my large white cravat, and say, what's that? If I should die tonight, and you should come to my cold corpse and kneel, clasping my bier to show the grief that you feel, I say, if I should die tonight, and you should come to me, and there and then, just even hint about paying me that 10, I might arise the while, but I'd drop dead again. Ben King. From Ben King's Verse. End of section 80.
Section 81 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Phil Schempf. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. If you can't go over or under, go round. Often the straight road to the thing we desire is blocked. We should not then weakly give over our purpose, but should set about attaining it by some indirect method. A politician knows that one way of getting a man's vote is to please the man's wife, and that one way of pleasing the wife is to kiss her baby. A baby mole got to feeling big, and wanted to show how he could dig. So he plowed along in the soft warm dirt till he hit something hard, and it surely hurt. A dozen stars flew out of his snout. He sat on his haunches, began to pout, then rammed the thing again with his head. His grandpap picked him up half dead. "Young man," he said, "though your pate is bone, you can't butt your way through solid stone. This bit of advice is good, I've found. If you can't go over or under, go round." A traveler came to a stream one day, and because it presumed to cross his way, and wouldn't turn round to suit his whim, and change its course to go with him, his anger rose far more than it should, and he vowed he'd cross right where he stood. A man said there was a bridge below, but not a step would he budge or go. The current was swift and the bank was steep, but he jumped right in with a violent leap. A fisherman dragged him out half drowned. When you can't go over or under, go round. If you come to a place that you can't get through, or over or under, the thing to do is to find a way round the impassable wall. Not say you'll go your way or not at all. You can always get to the place you're going if you set your sails as the wind is blowing. If the mountains are high, go round the valley. If the streets are blocked, go up some alley. If the parlor car's filled, don't scorn a freight. If the front door's closed, go in the side gate. To reach your goal, this advice is sound. If you can't go over or under, go round. Joseph Morris. End of section 81.
Section 82 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. I'm Glad by Anonymous. I'm glad the sky is painted blue, and the earth is painted green, and such a lot of nice fresh air, all sandwiched in between. End of section 82.
Section 83 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Christopher Freed. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Inner Light by John Milton. Thrice is he armed that half is quarrel just, and he but naked, though locked up in steel, whose conscience with injustice is corrupted, says Shakespeare. But not only does a clear conscience give power, it also gives light. With it we could sit at the center of the earth, and yet enjoy the sunshine. Without it we live in a rayless prison. He that has light within his own clear breast may sit ere the center, and enjoy bright day. But he that hides a dark soul and foul thoughts benighted walks under the midday sun. Himself is his own dungeon. End of section 83.
Section 84 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Carl Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Invictus. Triumph in spirit over adverse conditions is the keynote of this poem of courage undismayed. It rings with the power of the individual to guide his own destiny. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll, I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul. William Ernest Henley. End of section 84.
Section 85 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Shrimpfish. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Is it raining, little flower? By Anonymous. Sweet are the uses of adversity. They bring us benefits not otherwise to be had. To mope because of them is foolish. Showers alternate with sunshine, sorrows with pleasure, pain and weariness with comfort and rest. But accept the one as necessary to the other, and you will enjoy both. Is it raining, little flower? Be glad of rain. Too much sun would wither thee. 'Twill shine again. The sky is very black, 'tis true, but just behind it shines the blue. Art thou weary, tender heart? Be glad of pain. In sorrow the sweetest things will grow, as flowers in the rain. God watches, and thou wilt have sun, when clouds their perfect work have done. End of section 85.
Section 86 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. It couldn't be done. After a thing has been done, everybody is ready to declare it easy, but before it has been done, it is called impossible. One reason why people fear to embark upon great enterprises is that they see all the difficulties at once. They know they could succeed in the initial tasks, but they shrink from what is to follow. Yet, a thing begun is half done. Moreover, the surmounting of the first barrier gives strength and ingenuity for the harder ones beyond. Mountains viewed from a distance seem to be unscalable, but they can be climbed, and the way to begin is to take the first upward step. From that moment, the mountains are less high. As Hannibal led his army across the foothills, then among the upper ranges, and finally over to the loftiest peaks and passes of the Alps, whereas Peary pushed farther and farther into the solitudes that encompass the North Pole, so can you achieve any purpose whatsoever if you heed not the doubters, meet each problem as it arises, and keep ever with you the assurance it can be done. Somebody said that it couldn't be done, but he with a chuckle replied that maybe it couldn't, but he would be one who wouldn't say so till he'd tried. So he buckled right in with the trace of a grin on his face if he worried he hid it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. Somebody scoffed, "Oh, you'll never do that, at least no one ever has done it." But he took off his coat and he took off his hat, and the first thing we knew, he'd begun it. With a lift of his chin and a bit of a grin, without any doubting or quit it, he started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. There are thousands to tell you it cannot be done. There are thousands to prophesy failure. There are thousands to point out to you one by one the dangers that wait to assail you. But just buckle in with a bit of a grin, just take off your coat and go to it. Just start to sing as you tackle the thing that cannot be done, and you'll do it. By Edgar A. Guest. From The Path to Home. End of section 86, read by Nina Lilly.
Section 87 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Carl Thomas. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. It May Be. Many are the human struggles in which we can lend no aid, but if we cannot help, at least we need not hinder. It may be that you cannot stay to lend a friendly hand to him who stumbles on the slippery way, pressed by conditions hard and grim. It may be that you dare not heed his call for help because you lack the strength to lift him, but you need not push him back. It may be he has not won the right to hope for your regard. He may in folly have begun the course that he has found so hard. It may be that your fingers bleed, that fortune turns a bitter frown upon your efforts, but you need not kick him down. S. E. Kisser. End of section 87.
Section 88 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Shrimpfish. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. It Won't Stay Blowed by St. Clair Adams. It is easier to fail than succeed. It is easier to drift downstream than up. But just as pent steam finds an escape somewhere, so will the man who persists break at one point or another through confining circumstance. To the sniffin' pickaninny once, his good old mammy said, "Yo little black nose am drippin' from the cold that's in yo head, and yo sleeve am slick and shiny like the hillside when it snows. Why don't you pump de bellers from de inside ob your nose?" "And I been," the child replied to her, "a-doin' ob jest that, twell I's got a turrible empty feel right where I wears my hat. De traffic sorts o' knackerly keeps gettin' in de road. I blow my nose a plenty, but it won't stay blowed. What's the use ob raisin' chickens if they won't stay riz? What's the use ob freezin' sherbet if it won't stay frizz? What's the use of payin' debts off if dey's gwine stay owed? What's the use of blowin' noses if they won't stay blowed? This old world is sometimes jealous of the chap who means to rise. It sneers at what he's doing, or it bats him twixt the eyes. It trips him when he's careless, and it makes his way so hard. What's left of him is sinew, not a walking tub of lard. But it's only wasting effort, for by George, the guy keeps on, when his hopes have crumbled round him, and you'd think his faith was gone, till the world at last knocks under, and it passes him a crown. Once, twice, thrice it has upset him, but he won't stay down. What cares he when out he's flattened by the cruel blow it deals? He has rubber in his shoulders and a mainspring in his heels. Let the world uncork its buffets till he's bruised from toe to crown. Let it thump him, bump him, dump him, but he won't stay down. End of section 88. Section 89 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Shrimpfish. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Jaw by St. Clair Adams. We all like a firm, straightforward chin, provided it is not ruled by a wagging, gossiping tongue. This fellow's jaw is built so frail that you could break it like a weed. That fellow's chin retreats until you'd think it in a wild stampede. Defects like these but show how soon the purpose droops, the spirits flag. We like a jaw that's made of steel, just so it's not inclined to wag. The lower jaw should be as strong and changeless as a granite cliff. Its very look should be a thus, and not a maybe, somehow, if. Should mark a soul so resolute it will not fear or cease or lag. We need a rugged mandible, provided we don't let it lag. Yes, with endurance let it too a tender modesty possess, and to its grim strength let it add the gracious power of gentleness. Above all, let its might of deeds induce no loud or vulgar brag. We like to see a good firm jaw, but do not wish to hear it wag. End of section 89.
Section 90 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Shrimpfish. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Joy of Living by Gamaliel Bradford. Men too often act as if life were nothing more than hardships to be endured and difficulties to be overcome. They look upon what is happy or inspiring with eyes that really fail to see. As Wordsworth says of Peter Bell, "A primrose by the river's brim, a yellow primrose was to him, and it was nothing more." But to stop now and then and realize that the world is fresh and buoyant and happy will do much to keep the spirit young. We should be glad that we are alive, should tell ourselves often in the words of Charles Lamb, "I am in love with this green earth." The south wind is driving his splendid cloud horses through vast fields of blue. The bare woods are singing, the brooks in their courses are bubbling and springing and dancing and leaping, the violets peeping. I'm glad to be living, aren't you? End of section 90.
Section 91 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Just be glad. Misfortunes overtake us. Difficulties confront us. But these things must not induce us to give up. A congressman who had promised Thomas B. Reed to be present at a political meeting telegraphed at the last moment. "Cannot come. Wash out on the line." "No need to stay away," said Reed's answering telegram. "Buy another shirt." Oh, heart of mine, we shouldn't worry so. What we've missed of calm we couldn't have, you know. What we've met of stormy pain, and of sorrow's driving rain, we can better meet again if it blow. We have erred in that dark hour, we have known, when our tears fell with the shower all alone. Were not shine and shower blent, as the gracious Master meant, let us temper our content with his own. For we know not every morrow can be sad. So forgetting all the sorrow we have had, let us fold away our fears and put by our foolish tears, and through all the coming years just be glad. James Whitcomb Riley, from the biographical edition of the complete works of James Whitcomb Riley. End of section 91.
Section 92 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Phil Schempf. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Just whistle. There is a psychological benefit in the mere physical act of whistling. When the body makes music, the spirit falls into harmonies too, and the discords that assail us cease to make themselves heard. When times are bad and folks are sad and gloomy day by day, just try your best at looking glad and whistle 'em away. Don't mind how troubles bristle, Just take a rose or thistle, hold your own and change your tone, and whistle, whistle, whistle. A song is worth a world of sighs. When red the lightnings play, look for the rainbow in the skies, and whistle 'em away. Don't mind how troubles bristle, the rose comes with the thistle. Hold your own and change your tone, and whistle, whistle, whistle. Each day comes with a life that's new, a strange continued story, but still beneath a bendo blue, the world rolls on to glory. Don't mind how troubles bristle, just take a rose or thistle. Hold your own and change your tone, and whistle, whistle, whistle. Frank L. Stanton. End of section 92.
Section 93 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Keep a Goin' by Frank L. Stanton. Some men fail and quit, some succeed and quit. The wise refuse to quit, whether they fail or succeed. If you strike a thorn or rose, keep a goin'. If it hails or if it snows, keep a goin'. 'Tain't no use to sit and whine when the fish ain't on your line. Bait your hook and keep a tryin', keep a goin'. When the weather kills your crop, keep a goin'. When you tumble from the top, keep a goin'. S'pose you're out of every dime, bein' so ain't any crime. Tell the world you're feelin' prime, keep a goin'. When it looks like all is up, keep a goin'. Drain the sweetness from the cup, keep a goin'. See the wild birds on the wing, hear the bells that sweetly ring. When you feel like sighin', sing, keep a goin'. Frank L. Stanton, from the Atlanta Constitution. End of section 93. Section 94 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Keep On, Keepin' On by Anonymous. The author of these homely stanzas has caught perfectly the spirit which succeeds in the rough and tumble of actual life. If the day looks kinder gloomy, and your chances kinder slim, if the situation's puzzlin', and the prospect's awful grim, if perplexities keep pressin', till hope is nearly gone, just bristle up and grit your teeth, and keep on keepin' on. Frettin' never wins a fight, and fumin' never pays. There ain't no use in broodin' in these pessimistic ways. Smile just kinder cheerfully, though hope is nearly gone, and bristle up and grit your teeth, and keep on keepin' on. There ain't no use in growlin' and grumblin' all the time, when music's ringin' everywhere, and everything's a rhyme. Just keep on smilin' cheerfully, if hope is nearly gone, and bristle up and grit your teeth, and keep on keepin' on. End of section 94.
Section 95 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Shrimpfish. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Keep Sweet by Strickland W. Gillilan. Even the direst catastrophes may be softened by our attitude to them. Charles II said to those who had gathered about his deathbed, "You'll pardon any little lapses, gentlemen. I've never done this thing before." Don't be foolish and get sour when things don't just come your way. Don't you be a pampered baby and declared, "Now I won't play." Just go on grinning and bear it. Have you heartache? Millions share it. If you earn a crown, you'll wear it. Keep sweet. Don't go handing out your troubles to your busy fellow men. If you whine around, they'll try to keep from meeting you again. Don't declare the world's agin you. Don't let pessimism win you. Prove there's lots of good stuff in you. Keep sweet. If your dearest hopes seem blighted and despair looms into view, set your jaw and whisper grimly, "Though they're false, yet I'll be true." Never let your heart grow bitter, with your lips to hope's transmitter, hear love's songbirds bravely twitter. Keep sweet! Bless your heart, this world's a good one, and will always help a man. Hate, misanthropy, and malice have no place in nature's plan. Help your brother there who's sighing, keep his flag of courage flying. Help him try, 'twill keep you trying. Keep sweet. End of section 95. Section 96 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Shrimpfish. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. The Kingdom of Man by John Kendrick Bangs. The wisest men know that the greatest world is not outside them. They could, in Shakespeare's phrase, be bounded by a nutshell and count themselves kings of infinite space. What of the outer drear, as long as there's inner light, as long as the sun of cheer shines ardently bright, as long as the soul's a wing, as long as the heart is true, what power hath trouble to bring a sorrow to you? No bar can encage the soul, nor capture the spirit free, as long as old earth shall roll, or ours shall be. Our world is the world within, our life is the thought we take, and never an outer sin can mar it or break. Brood not on the rich man's land, sigh not for miser's gold, holding in reach of your hand the treasure untold, that lies in the minds of hearts, that rests in the soul alone. Bid worry and care depart, come into your own. End of section 96.
Section 97 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Know Thyself by Angela Morgan. It seems impossible that human beings could endure so much until we realize that they have endured it. The spirit of man performs miracles. It transcends the limitations of flesh and blood. It is like Uncle Remus's account of Brer Rabbit climbing a tree. A rabbit couldn't do that, the little boy protested. He did, Uncle Remus responded. He was just bleeged to. Reined by an unseen tyrant's hand, spurred by an unseen tyrant's will, a quiver at the fierce command that goads you up the danger hill. You cry, O fate, O life, be kind. Grant but an hour of respite. Give 1 moment to my suffering mind. I cannot keep the pace and live. But fate drives on and will not heed the lips that beg, the feet that bleed. Drives while you faint upon the road. Drives with a menace for a goad. With fiery reins of circumstance, urging his terrible advance. The while you cry in your despair, the pain is more than I can bear. Fear not the goad, fear not the pace, plead not to fall from out the race. It is your own self driving you, yourself that you have never known, seeing your little self alone, yourself, high-seated charioteer, master of cowardice and fear, yourself that sees the shining length of all the fearful road ahead, knows that the terrors that you dread are pygmies to your splendid strength, strength you have never even guessed, strength that has never needed rest, yourself that holds the mastering rein, seeing beyond the sweat and pain and anguish of your driven soul, the patient beauty of the goal. Fighting upon the terror field, where man and fate came breast to breast, pressed by 1,000 foes to yield, tortured and wounded without rest, you cried, "Be merciful, O life, the strongest spirit soon must break, before this all unequal strife, this endless fight for failure's sake." But fate, unheeding, lifted high his sword and thrust you through to die, and then there came one strong and great, who towered high o'er chance and fate, who bound your wound and eased your pain, and bade you rise and fight again, and from some source you did not guess gushed a great tide of happiness, a courage mightier than the sun. You rose and fought, and fighting, won. It was your own self saving you, yourself no man has ever known, looking on flesh and blood alone, that self that lives so close to God, as roots that feed upon the sod, that one who stands behind the screen, looks through the window of your eyes, a being out of paradise, a self no human eye has seen, the living one who never tires, fed by the deep eternal fires, your flaming self with two-edged sword, made in the likeness of the Lord, angel and guardian at the gate, master of death and king of fate. End of section 97.
Section 98 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. Laugh a little bit. A merry heart doth good. Like medicine, a little laughter cures many a seeming ill. Here's a motto, just your fit. Laugh a little bit. When you think your trouble hit, laugh a little bit. Look misfortune in the face. Brave the beldam rude grimace. 10 to 1 till yield its place. If you have the wit and grit, just to laugh a little bit. Keep your face with sunshine lit. Laugh a little bit. All the shadows off will flit. If you have the grit and wit, just to laugh a little bit. Cherish this as sacred writ. Laugh a little bit. Keep it with you, sample it. Laugh a little bit. Little ills sure will betide you. Fortune may not be beside you. Men may mock and fame deride you. But you mind them not a whit if you laugh a little bit. Edmund Vance Cook from Patch of Pansies. End of section 98. Read by Michael Ruffin, a.k.a. Craig123.
Section 99 of It Can Be Done. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. It Can Be Done by Joseph Morris and St. Clair Adams. A Lesson from History by Joseph Morris. To break the ice of an undertaking is difficult. To cross on broken ice, as Eliza did to freedom, or to row amid floating ice, as Washington did to victory, is harder still. This poem applies especially to those who are discouraged in a struggle to which they are already committed. Everything's easy after it's done. Every battle's a cinch that's won. Every problem is clear that's solved. The earth was round when it revolved. But Washington stood amid grave doubt, with enemy forces camped about. He could not know how he would fare till after he crossed the Delaware. Though the river was full of ice, he did not think about it twice, but started across in the dead of night, the enemy waiting to open the fight. Likely feeling pretty blue, being human same as you, but he was brave amid despair, and Washington crossed the Delaware. So when you're with trouble beset, and your spirits are soaking wet, when all the sky with clouds is black, don't lie down upon your back and look at them. Just do the thing. Though you are choked, still try to sing. If times are dark, believe them fair, and you will cross the Delaware. End of section 99.